My name is Bobby Brooks. Join me as we take a trip into the unknown. We're going to get into the minds of paranormal experts and investigators and find out what possesses them to go into dark rooms with nothing but a voice recorder and a flashlight, with their mission to find what goes bump in the night. Not only are we going to pick their brains on experiences they have had, but we are also going to take a look at their best evidence and discuss whether they believe it's paranormal. Welcome to Voices from Beyond. On tonight's show, we will be talking about a piece of paranormal equipment called the Frank's Box, also known as the Spirit Box. I'd like to welcome our first guest to the show. From the local paranormal group Altered State Paranormal, we have Mike, Maria, and Missy. A little bit later in the show, we'll be bringing two of the other paranormal investigators up to talk about some evidence. Hi guys, how are you doing tonight?
Just fine, how are you?
Good. So Mike, being the founder of Altered State Paranormal, can you tell us a little bit about ASP?
Well, Altered State Paranormal, otherwise known as ASP, was, as you stated, founded late 2009, early 2010. At that time, it was comprised of 4 members, and over the course of a couple years now, we have actually grown to 10 members, and we service the Metro St. Louis area. We do a lot of home investigations and business investigations and personal investigations of our own. And we use the state-of-the-art equipment. Pretty much if you see it on TV and most popular shows, we use it, and that's about it.
Great. So what is the process that your team goes through before they automatically assume something's paranormal?
Well, first and foremost, we never assume anything is paranormal. It's kind of hard to deem something or assume that something's paranormal when you don't know for yourself. So what we do is we tend to want to eliminate all the scientific side of all the claims that are out there, and what we do is we will investigate a building trying to rule out anything that has a probable cause. Could be anywhere from high EMF in the building to, where traffic is, close to the building that could cause vibrations in the building, things to move. There's a lot that actually really goes into an investigation, so you have to use all the equipment and, most important, your own self. And once we gather all the evidence and compile it throughout the night, then the team will sit down and we will do an evidence review. And that becomes very crucial, it takes more than one to confirm anything, meaning that more than one person has to agree upon anything that is presented as evidence before we can even present it to the team as being evidence. And then,
so pretty much you have multiple ears listening to the different pieces of audio to get each person's opinion to make sure that it would be a good EVP, for example?
Absolutely. We try not to, share with each other what we think as far as putting something in their head. We try to collectively, we even go as far as, each person will write it down, what they think it is, that is causing that certain noise, or, the words spoken through, voice analysis. We do use video, we use photography, and pretty much everybody on the team is responsible for going through evidence, and then we all come together and go through it all together.
So each person has different specific jobs. One person will listen through their audio, another person will go through their video, another person will go through their pictures, and then what they think is close enough to paranormal, they bring to you as the team later to go over it and have the final say?
Yes and no. Yes, we all go over everything individually, but we also come back and go over it as a team. It's never just presented just to me. It's kind of hard, because then that becomes my opinion of what you heard. So you have to get multiple opinions on any kind of evidence that is presented. So we will actually go over as a team, before we put it into our evidence file, as whether or not it leans towards paranormal or against paranormal activity.
Ever have any big debates on something where somebody thinks, oh, this is definitely paranormal, and then somebody else thinks it's not? How do you figure that out?
Well, we have debates even in our team amongst ourselves, and a lot of times what I say is if it becomes argumented, we throw it out.
Right, and that's the best way to do it. I agree with that. So with all that in mind, how do you decide which pieces of evidence have the most credibility to put out there, say on YouTube or Facebook or on your own personal website?
Well, when you go through the evidence and you work with the team members that collected the evidence throughout the night in an investigation, and you rule out every possibility of, you know, what could be man-made and what is non-man-made, what could have caused a noise, what could have caused a voice. You know, self-contamination is big in the paranormal, and a lot of people are fooled by their own contamination. And I pride myself on making sure that my team members are very disciplined in their manner and their techniques that they use when they do their investigation. And it pretty much has to be 100% ruled out of anything that's, you know, could be man-made, you know, before we could even present it as paranormal. But even one piece that is questionable, you know, that is unexplainable, doesn't deem anything being paranormal. You know, I'm probably, and my team members will tell you, I'm probably the hardest person to convince that a place has got paranormal activity. We don't even listen to the claims of past teams. You know, it's kind of nice to know a little bit of the history of the building, but you know, that's why we're there. We're researchers. So when we go through our process of gathering that information, you know, it takes a large collection to deem anywhere having paranormal activity.
Fabulous. Now, there's a lot of fakes out there. You see on YouTube fake videos and stuff where people, you know, just want everybody to believe that there's ghost or paranormal activity out there. How do you handle the critics that think your evidence, which is credible, to be staged or faked?
Well, you know, when we do ours, we use camcorders, and our camcorders work under infrared. And when we actually use these camcorders, we don't use them to catch paranormal activity. We use those to catch ourselves, to make sure that we are not contaminating our own stuff. So anything that we put out there, you will never see an audio clip out there from us that doesn't have the video to back it up. So we are actually confirming with ourselves when we're doing it. And it's through multiple devices, never through just one form.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break and have a word from our sponsors. When we get back, we're going to look at some of ASP's best evidence captured. Stay tuned. We have spots open for your business. This spot can be yours. Contact Missy at 465-9850, extension 236.
From its birth in 1931 on Broadway in Alton to its new home on Homer Adams Parkway, welcome to Alton Refrigeration and Home Furnishings. Alton Refrigeration and Home Furnishings earned its outstanding customer service reputation in servicing major appliance brands such as Maytag, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Frigidaire, Samsung, and more. When you think about it, Alton Refrigeration is about providing you with years of comfortable living with worry-free brand name products. Low-hanging branches? Loose limbs? Storm damage? Don't risk climbing up that shaky ladder. Let Alton Tree Service do it for you. Fully insured with over 11 years of experience, protecting your home and family is what we do best. From trimming to complete removal, there is no tree we can't handle. Contact Alton Tree Service today for a free, no-obligation estimate at 618-977-1413.
Welcome back. Now we're going to take a look at some of ASP's evidence from the Milton Schoolhouse. Take a look.
Yeah.
No,
the child,
the
right
child,
before.
child.
Child right before.
Red or black, silver or gold, new or used. At first.
Is it playing? This is the bathroom I was talking about.
Every daylight.
Anybody in here with us?
Yeah, you guys heard this clip first. There's nothing more terrifying than a child's voice. What was going through your heads when you heard this?
Well, it kind of breaks your heart. Anytime you hear a child spirit, sometimes you can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. It just kind of breaks your heart because that means that a child died. It's just kind of a reminder.
I was just amazed because of the fact when we were down there, we didn't hear anything at all. And then when I hooked that audio in and hit play and that came on, I mean, I literally jumped out of my chair and I was like, you guys got to hear this. I mean, it was just amazing because that is your Class A EVP.
Yeah,
I mean, you can hear so clearly.
Yeah, no cleaning up was needed. I mean, that's as it is the natural state of that, EVP.
Now, with that in mind, I heard earlier in the evening, Maria, you had presented, because with it being a school and with the claims there being the ghost of Mary there, did you bring something that could have triggered a child to come out?
I had heard the stories of a little girl, and so that in itself kind of broke my heart. So I brought a little pack of candy, chocolate candy, and a little rose, red rose, and I left it for her in the room that we were in prior to doing this ladies' room that we caught the EVP in. So we're not sure if she's talking about the rose or if it's a lullaby, but it's very similar, so it's kind of eerie.
It's something that's pretty coincidental that makes you go, think about that a little bit. Now, there was never really a confirmed death of a child in Milton Schoolhouse, or so, and that's more of legends, and Alton is so full of legends and folklore. But you can clearly hear a small person's voice on that. This is not the first time that you've encountered with your many investigations and overnights that you have at Milton School, which I believe you have an overnight coming up here at the end of March.
Yeah, Friday the 30th, we have
March
an event.
30th, yes.
And that's open to the public. People can call in and set up an appointment or come in and stay with you guys.
Yeah, and it's actually the last year that Milton School will be having hosted events, and it's never let us down. I mean, we always get personal experiences. The guests always have stories to tell afterwards, as well as evidence. I mean, lots of evidence comes out of Milton School.
Oh, great, great, great. Well, keep that in mind. If you're interested in that, you can go to ASP's website, and then you can confirm that. Now, like I said, this wasn't the first time that you've spoken with the child. Mike, you've had some personal experiences with a same childlike voice at Milton School. Could you tell us about it a little bit?
Well, first and foremost, I wanted to let the viewers know that, there are no children that go on our investigations with us. Everybody that has been at these events are 18 years of age and older. So we are locked in the building, and when we were, we've actually investigated there 5 times now. And a couple of which where it was just the team, and a couple, and then 3 more hosted events that we've done. And with that being said, for some reason, this child has actually reached out to me and has actually called me by name in quite a bit of our audio. And I don't know what the connection is. I guess because I'm very passionate at what I do and very passionate about, there being a child there. But once we caught the child the first time, it wasn't too hard to find the child the next time. And when I mean the next time, I don't mean in the same night. I mean over the course of 3 to 4 different investigations. And once a voice rings out, then it's kind of hard to miss. And the various ways that we've caught it on natural EVP and actually, catching it through the Frank's box, which we'll talk about tonight,
Right.
how that works.
It's an amazing piece of evidence. But not only has ASP captured a child's voice in the schoolhouse, you've also captured a man's voice. Let's take a look at this clip and see what you think about it.
No.
Is there a little girl down here, maybe?
How many of you are down here right now with us?
Ooh, it's cold down here. Can you feel that? Okay, these are 3 words coming across, spread out, just so you guys know that.
What's it
It's the
saying?
same voice. I don't know what it's saying. We'll get that on record, but I'll just let you guys know. Something's trying to talk.
Tell me your name.
Where did you come from? Why are you stuck here?
Mike, I feel something on my arm. Jake took his head. Something's touching my arm. Are you touching my arm?
Are you touching Krista?
It's still touching me.
It is.
All right, when I heard this clip, it scared me. It really, really scared me because nobody reacted to it. So, and there was other things going on. Krista, I believe was her name, was feeling something around her. And you train your team to mark the audio if they hear it with their ears. So obviously nobody in this room heard this enough twice. But what was the atmosphere like in that room?
Well, first and foremost, I was actually using a Frank's box and I had my digital voice recorder, and I was wearing headphones with the voice recorder at the time, which means everything that is being caught on that voice recorder is amplified. Everything that is in that room is amplified in my ears. I'm very much a disciplinary when it comes to audio, and I hear everything. I have bat ears, you know, these guys will tell you, and even with the amplified, it didn't come across. We didn't really know that was taking place, as you said, and it wasn't just caught on my audio device, it was caught on the camcorders too. And when the activity in the room actually started, it started off with some K2 action, and that is using the EMF meters. And the action just kind of started working its way around the room, and we were getting ready to actually get into our Frank's box session. And as we were getting going, it seemed like everybody was kind of getting disrupted, you know, and like you said, Krista got touched. And when we were going through our Frank's box
Just amazing
session.
to me. I'm sorry to cut you off. We're going to have to break to a commercial.
Okay.
And we'll be right back, and ASP is going to go down south to Red Bowling Green, Tennessee, to the Thomas House.
When you own a business, your loss could be your employees' loss too. That's why you should put American Family Insurance and me to work right away. I'm Gerard Fisher of American Family Insurance. I can help you design property and liability coverages that fit the needs of your specific business. Interested? Call me, Gerard Fisher, at 466-7062.
American Family Insurance.
Red or black, silver or gold, new or used. At First Mid-America Credit Union, they know options are important to you. That's why they've made relationships with local dealerships where you'll receive all the extras with First Mid-America Credit Union's low rates and financing done on the spot. All you have to do is decide what you want. Your car, our loans, they're made for each other. www.1stmidamerica.org or call 618-258-3168 to speak to a representative.
All right, welcome back. Now, I have to correct myself. The Thomas House is in Red Bowling Springs, Tennessee. Sorry about that. So recently, ASP took a trip down there. And Lori, you had some experiences in the church across the street. It wasn't even the Thomas House.
Right.
Let's take a look at that clip, and then we'll talk about it.
I don't want to hear about death.
Me neither.
Tell me about your life. F off? Seriously? Come on, we've been nice.
It's about 82 degrees in here.
I had goosebumps.
Okay, hold on, let me see.
Well, he just said death again.
What's with the death?
So maybe you want to talk to us a little bit.
Here we go again.
Flashlight?
That was an awesome trick.
Yep.
We believe you're here with us.
Can you do it again? Can you drain his flashlight out again? Thank you. Thank you.
That's awesome.
It's not going back now.
There it goes.
So how did you die? Tell us about your death.
There was a lot going on in that clip. I'd like to welcome Lori and Casey to the show. They're also investigators with ASP. There were flashlights going off in that clip. There were temperature fluctuations and a lot of stuff going on the Frank's box. What was going through your guys' minds?
Well, keep in mind, this was a church that had no AC, nothing running. It's July in Tennessee. It is hot, it is humid. The air is not moving in there. We should have been feeling extremely hot and even woozy. And all of a sudden, the room started getting kind of cold. We're experiencing goosebumps and chills, and all the equipment is doing crazy things. Some things are turning off, some are turning on. And in the meantime, we were using the Frank's box. And one of the techniques that we like to use with the Frank's box is to encourage potentially whatever's in there with us to use the words that we're using. Anyone could say, oh, someone on a radio station somewhere said that word. Whereas in this particular clip, the voice tells us to leave about 22 times. And I keep telling it, I don't want leave. I want you to tell me to get out. And eventually, it does.
Eventually, it just was like, psh, get out.
I'll give her what she wants. Get out of my space.
Right. How'd you feel in the room, Miss Casey?
I felt weighed down, but I mean, it was like a totally awesome experience. But like the whole time, I felt really weighed down, like I wasn't getting up. And then finally, when it said get out, and we said, okay, we're gonna get out, it was like lifted. It was like, all right, you're gonna get out. Go ahead, do it now.
You guys are sisters, right? So do you think it's in the blood, the thrill of the hunt?
She's actually my daughter.
I would have never guessed that.
You're my new favorite person.
Well, thank you.
I think sometimes that can run in the family, or it's just that I'm open to it, and thereby my kids
and
are
that
open to it.
tend to carry on.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us about it.
Thank you.
Now, I want to get to our gadget of the week, the Frank's box. Can you tell us a bit about it, Mike?
Well, there's many different versions out there right now. One we are actually using right now, which is called the PSB7, and this was designed, it's basically a transistor radio that continually scans through the radio stations. It never stops on any one station. And when it was invented, or when it was theorized, it was designed that since everything that we do and everything that we speak in is in a frequency, just like your speakers in your car, everything is an impulse, it's a frequency. And these are designed to scroll through the stations, and it is theorized that that spirits can speak in frequencies, and they are picked up in what's called the white noise. Now the white noise, to the common user is basically the static and the areas in between radio stations. And since it never stops on any one station in particular, when you get multiple voices that come through, these scan at a rate that if you had 3 words spoken by the same person, same voice, by the time they got that third word out, this radio would already scan down 20, 30 stations. It scans that fast. I mean, you can do the test at home. Sit in your car, push the scan button, and watch the numbers, and try to say three words and see how many radio stations you get down. Now, people always ask us, why do you think this works? Well, how come they don't hear the voices on the radio itself? Well, first of all, the radio stations broadcast in such a high frequency and such a strong signal, chances are there could be paranormal, spirits actually speaking through these, but their radio station comes across so strong, it drowns them out. Right. So nobody sits and listens to the static in between the radio stations, unless, well, not most people. Some people might. But with that being said, as it's scanning through, when you pick up, if say some entity or spirit is speaking at 80 hertz, you might actually come across at that particular time and catch that voice. And if they really want to communicate with you as it's coming through, you're going to pick it up on here. And it has proven to actually be very, very effective in our use in paranormal research.
And we've got a clip from, I believe this is at Pierre Marquette, of a Frank's box respond. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Are we still talking to Jack?
Yes, I'm talking. Speak.
Okay, Jack.
Wow, that was a full sentence.
Absolutely.
And it's scanning at, how fast is it scanning?
Well, on this one here, you have different sweep rates, and just as fast as you do in your regular car. I mean, I can't really tell you exactly how fast it's going, but it's going fast enough that I know that we've actually matched up a Frank's box and the scanning of it next to our audio and push scan at the same time we play an EVP, and we've had it go as far as 40, 50 stations down. Now, keep in mind, it's one thing to get one word, one syllable word. You know, a lot of times we would say, you know, because radio personalities, bits and blurbs do come across. And those are pretty much easily dispelled. But when you get the same voice over the course of 4 different words, you know, then you have to start thinking, well, you know, that's not possible because you've already scanned 40 different stations. And I know that same radio personality is not on 40 different stations at the same time.
Right. Is there, now say you have a skeptic in the room that's going to sit there and argue with you about radio frequencies. Like, for example, kind of torn on it. I've sat in my garage with my baby monitor and I could hear the neighbor on their cellular phone or their cordless phone go through a full conversation. How is that different?
Well, first and foremost, before we even get started into that, I want to say this never proves paranormal activity. It only lends to an investigation. It's only a small portion of what we use in our equipment. But, well, the difference is like I said, you know, your baby monitor only is set at one frequency.
Right.
So if they're speaking to us in frequencies at a lower or a higher, you know, depending on their energy, you know, and where they're drawing their energy from, maybe that's why they're not picking up on baby monitors. But, you know, it has been known that people have actually heard voices coming through their baby monitors. It could very well be paranormal.
Wow. Well, that's about all the time we have for tonight's show. Make sure you tune in next week as we host the founders of RiverBend Paranormal, Brian and Matt. My notes are everywhere. I'd like to say thank you to ASP. If you have any questions or comments or would like to get a hold of them for a home investigation or anything like that, you can contact them at their website, www.alteredstateparanormal.com. And also, they have that upcoming event at Milton School, which usually doesn't disappoint.
Friday the 30th. And you can actually go to www.thevivantproject.com to reserve your space. It is $50 per person, 18 years or older. And
it's a really good time.
It's a good time. You get to actually investigate with us, use all of our equipment. It's live. It's just like you see on TV.
I might have to join you guys on that. Well, until next time, happy hunting.